Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new edition of Let's Football Live. We just met a couple of days ago with Shubham Sarangi on our show, but we've got another special guest joining us today, and he comes from Goa. Now he's somebody who's got the most assists amongst Indians in Hero ISL history. He's got the most chances created amongst Indians in the history of the league as well. He's somebody who's created the most number of chances in the FIFA World Cup 2022 qualifiers. And not to forget, he's provided all 3 assists that have led to goals in our qualification for the FIFA 2022 World Cup, and of course the joint qualification, which is the Asian Cup as well. I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about. If Kostub, you don't know, if Ishan ANI07 you don't know, then let me apprise you of our guest today, and he is Brandon Fernandes, who comes from Goa. And
I'm just going to get him on. Just waiting for Brandon to get connected. The last time we had a few connectivity issues, but we've got Brandon this time. How are you, my friend?
Hi, Anant. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, Brandon. We finally got there. We've been trying to get you on Let's Football Live for a while. The last time the internet ditched us, but thankfully this time I can see you very clearly.
Yeah, last time what happened was it was raining, so there was some fiber cut. So I was trying to figure out, but I couldn't. Then I called the technicians and all, but it took a while, so I couldn't come last time.
You should have just assisted him, because that's what you're so good at, Brandon, aren't you? just helped him out a little bit, and I'm sure you could have done a better job than him. Anyway, we've got you now, and it's such a pleasure to have you, Brandon. So thank you for agreeing to be on Let's Football Live. And I've been watching a lot of your lot of the interviews that your parents have been giving. In the lead up to you signing for Goa, and then when you became the force that you are for FC Goa. And one of the things that stood out for me, and I'll jump straight to the first question, which comes from Letao, who asked, what made you choose your career in football? Now, I believe your father has been a stage artist, but your mother was a national level kabaddi player. So was it your mother who was your inspiration to get into football?
My father, yeah, he's a stage artist, but he was also into football. Like, he was a member of Goan Football Association, and he was the one, whenever this I-League, like before it was called NFL. So he was the one who used to, organize and be in that committee. So I used to always go with him as a kid to watch the football matches. And he also always, took me in that direction to watch football matches.
Waiting
and
for Brandon. Sorry.
Ball. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I just lost you there for a second, Brandon. I've got you now.
Okay. So yeah, he was into the committee in the JFA, and I used to always go with him to watch football matches before it was called NFL. So I used to always go to watch NFL with him, and he was the one who took me in that direction. He always gave me a ball. He got me a pair of boots. Always, supported me, and from a very young age, like whenever I think I was 2 years old, something, he made special boot for me, like a small boot, and he used to take me on we used to have a small playing area in my neighborhood, so he used to take me there and I used to play. So when I was small only, like I had that interest in football, he took me, encouraged me to play football. So yeah, it came mostly from my father, but in my entire family, my brother played football. My sister was an athlete. She also played football in college. My mother was a national kabaddi player. So yeah, in my family, there was everyone was playing sports. So so I was born in a sports family, and initially my father took me in that direction to play football.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it's very humble of him to not speak so openly about his love for football, because his life completely revolves around watching Brandon play. He never misses a single game, and same with your mother as well. But he also told me that both your brothers are named after footballers. So he said both Sydney, who was basically a Sao Paulo FC player, and he's named after him, and of course Beckham, the other one. So how does the name Brandon come about, and what does Brandon mean? Because I never found out that.
I asked my parents, like, if you all thought about me, if I wanted to play football, and if they had a vision to make me as a professional footballer, why you all choose Brandon and not a famous footballer's name? Like there was Pele, Maradona, and many other players.
Diego, yeah.
So then So they just told me that it was an Irish name or something, and
Yeah.
they had a friend who used to come from UK here every time, and his name was Brandon. So, so I think it came, they liked that name, and they chose that name for me.
I can assure you that you are the most famous Brandon that all of us know now. So you've done a good job. So don't you worry about your name at all.
Yeah, yeah, no.
But like you said, it started very early. There was a question from Aditya Khare who wanted to know who's been your role model. There was another one from Jayashree Vasani who said, what were your childhood football memories like? Because it's almost like, Brandon, football chose you. You didn't choose football, right? Because every Goan sort of picks football because it just comes so naturally to them.
Uh, yeah, in Goa, everybody loves football. And by the way, my father, he owned a club, like a small club. We used to
Yeah,
play inter-village tournaments. And so there was a lot of interest in football in my family and even my neighborhood. So when I was young, I always had people who used to play football on the streets, on the roads, on the, you know, you can name it anywhere. Used to play football.
yeah,
So as a child, I always, you know, I always saw a ball. Like I just wanted to play football. Like every time, even after coming from school, I used to take the ball and go just kick around, just play with my friends. So
yeah,
my childhood memory would be I used to play. I was the youngest one, and I used to play with my brother and all my brother, the elder brother, and they used to all be
yeah.
like his age. So I remember I used to play in the fields, and uh, they took me to play, and they said, but other guys were like, he's too young, he cannot play, and this and that. So I play, and I scored a hat trick. Like I scored 3 goals. I was just playing forward, and I scored 3 goals. So that's the time, like they said, oh, he can play football, and so from there, I
Yeah.
think everybody thought that okay, I can play football, and they put me in a club. Uh, I was training, and even in that club, I was the youngest, and I think the batch 89 born players, I
Yeah.
was in that batch. So I was playing with them, and it's like everybody thought like, okay, he has a good touch, he can shoot well, so he can be a good player.
Yeah, I remember your father mentioning your first ever goal that he saw, which was, I think, straight off a corner, and it went into the goal from there. And I think you must have been about 2 or 3, or maybe more, even younger than some of the other players who were playing in that tournament. I think it was organized by, I can't remember what he said. I think it was Salset Football Club. It organized
Yeah,
some
yeah,
tournament
yeah,
where
yeah,
you were
I know, I
taking
know,
part.
I know. It was the under 12 tournament, and I was only 7 years old, and I was playing for Franza, a club from
Yeah,
here, Batalbate.
France Pax.
They used
Yeah,
to be in Franza Pex, yeah. So that was my first tournament I played. I was 7 years old, and in that tournament, it's a 7 SI tournament, and my first goal I scored was for like a corner. So
yeah.
it was a small ground, so everybody thought I would cross the ball, but I just hit the ball. It just swung in and it just went inside.
But since then, you made a bit of a habit of taking corners and set pieces, not just for FC Goa, but also for the national team now. In fact, Indian football had given us a question, and they said you got 3 assists for the national team, one for Sunil, one for Len, and one for Adil Khan, who scored at the Salt Lake. Which one is your favorite? Since we're talking about taking set pieces and corners.
Uh, for me, all the assists are special. All 3 assists are special. The one for Chetri and for Len, but I will choose the Adil one because it has a lot of emotions behind it because we were
Yeah,
losing in Calcutta. It was a home match, so after that equalizer, we had there was a lot of emotions and it was a different atmosphere. So that gave
yeah.
us a lot of like I got goosebumps and I will always remember that goal and that assist. So yeah, I would choose the Adil Khan one against
Yeah, and
Bangladesh.
also an emotional moment for him because he was getting back into the national team and then scoring after all that time spent away from the national team as well, and the two Goans combining to give us the all-important equalizer. And otherwise, the result could have been so different. So well done to you and to Adil.
Actually, in fact, he told me that he would score, and before we left for the match, we always sit together in the bus. So he told me that when you get a corner, just target me, and I will come in the first post. So I said, okay, if I get a chance, I will definitely take a corner, and I will try to hit the first post. You just come and you just try to connect the ball well, and that's what happened. So yeah, thanks to Adil also for connecting the ball well.
You had the option to give it to Adil or to Sandesh in the game against An as well. You chose to do that different routine on the free kick with Sunil Chhetri. What was the practice like, or was it just something that you guys did spontaneously because Sunil came up to you and you guys made a plan together? The goal against Oman in Guwahati.
Okay, so initially the plan was to whip the ball in very hard, so it can take a deflection or it can go in. Obviously, we have Adil, we have Sandesh, and we have Chetri Bhai. They are the target man. And so Chetri Bhai came to me and he told me, see, they are all very compact. And it will be difficult for me to just, find a player or target a player and pass the ball to him. So then he came to me and he said, there's a lot of space. So what I'll do is you just play the ball in the space and I will just come from behind and I'll just try to connect it. And I have to give credit to all the players because all the players understood that scenario, and all the players went inside and took their defense also inside, and they were like so compact, like in the goal, and there was a lot of space created around the penalty area, the penalty. So my job was just to put the ball there in that area, and nobody was there. So Chetri Bhai just came to me and told me that, and I executed well. I just tried to put the ball in the space, and he came and connected. So yeah, it was a team goal, I can say.
Yeah, I mean, you had to wait so long to get into the national team, and eventually you come and you make an impact straight away. Now, Brandon, you were part of the under-14s, the under-17s, the under-19s. Was it a bit frustrating for you that you could not break into the national team despite your stints, with your trials in England and your time in South Africa?
Yeah, like I always thought, that I want to get into the national team, and it would be better for me if I got into the national team at the early age. But unfortunately, it didn't happen for, I don't know, many reasons. But, I never left hope. I always kept believe in myself, and I told myself, whatever it is, I will give my best for the club. And, one day my chance will come. And I always kept telling me this, that my chance will come, my chance will come, my chance will come. And when I got my call up, I was so happy that finally I got a call up and I'll be able to play for my national team. And now I need to work hard to keep my spot and play regularly.
Yeah, because you're somebody who emerged at a very young age. You spoke about that tournament that you played, where you scored from a corner, and then you went to Manchester as well, where you took part in the Manchester United, the Skills Cup, and you finished in the top 10. I remember your father saying in an interview. So you had a lot of great exposure early on before eventually, being spotted and being taken to South Africa, the ASD Academy. Just tell us a little bit about that journey, Brandon, right from starting out, at a young age, like 8 or 9, and then getting the opportunity on possibly the biggest stage at that age for an Indian.
Yeah, I started at the age of 7 or 8. I think 7. I was just training with the club, França, and I was the youngest one. And I played that tournament, like I said, the Albino Memorial Tournament, 7-a-side it was, under 12.
Yeah.
So from there, people started noticing me. And the very next year, I played in the under-14 tournament, and I scored a few goals. And after that, I played for my school. I scored many goals for school. I won many trophies. And then there was a time that there was Manchester United Soccer School. They organized a competition for all the Goan players, and in that I came in top 12, and then we went to
Yeah.
Manchester. So there was at least 300 players around the world who came there, and we were trained there, and at the same time there was the same competition which we had in Goa. So we used to get points. So there was
Yeah.
target shooting, passing, dribbling, juggling, so all that. So in that, among the 300 players, I got selected. Only two were selected. So like that, they had at least three, not three, I think 4 or 5 something camps like that for 300 players. And out of that, they
Yeah.
selected 30 players. So then again, I got a chance to go to Manchester, and I went with my dad there. And in that, I came fifth or sixth something. I was in
Hmm.
top 10, and they announced there, and we had a chance to watch a match, United versus Hull City. Watch a match at Old Trafford. It was a wonderful experience. I watched Cristiano Ronaldo play, scored 2 goals in that match. Was so close. I was
Yeah.
like in the just behind the goal, like the bottom stand. It was a
Yeah.
great experience for me. I watched that match. I was like, wow, this is something great. This is something new I've experienced. And after that, I came back and I got a chance to play for my national team. I played in the under 13. It was a festival held in Bangladesh. I represented India in under 13, and then the next year I got a chance to play in under 14, and that was in Iran, Tehran. That was also a
Yeah.
festival. And after this, I was the only Goan in that squad in the under
Yeah.
14, which went to Iran. So after that, I got selected for the ASD Academy in South Africa. They gave me a call up. They told me to come for trials. I went there
Yeah.
for a 10-day trial, and they really liked me. They said you have a lot of potential, and you just need to train. You just need to be sharper. And they spoke to my father, and they told that okay, we will try. We want to keep him for another 2 or 3 years here in the academy, and he can be a very good player by the end of the two three
Yeah.
years. And that's how I went to South Africa, and I had 2 or 3 years, 2.5 years in South Africa. And then I came back and I joined the I League club, Sporting Club de Goa. And then from there, my journey started like in Indian football.
Fantastic. And there were also trials at Reading, Sunderland, Leicester, if I read it correctly somewhere. Uh, I wanted to know about your trials with Reading and Sunderland and Leicester, because you know what was happening was that you were getting these opportunities, but there was either an injury or there was some problem that was curtailing your progress beyond that. So what was it like? Firstly, the experience of going there and giving those trials, and then how did you cope with the disappointment of not being able to make it?
My first trial was at Reading. Uh, I went there, I had a 2 weeks trials, and it was a great experience for me. It was a new thing for me, new setup. The players were very
Yeah.
physical there, and first week was a bit difficult for me because uh, the players were physically good, and it was a very quick. The intensity was high. Uh, the coaches were expecting a lot from the players. So first week I bit of fumbled there, as in it was a bit difficult for me, I can say. And then second week I started trying to adapt to that situation, and coping with the scenario, with the atmosphere, and all the things in the club, the players,
Yeah.
the coaches. And I did well in the second week, but it wasn't enough. I think, and they said you're a very good player, and you can you need to work a lot on your upper body,
Yeah.
and a lot of other things they told me. So I said, okay, it was my first experience and I would take it. And then I went to Leicester City with a different mindset, knowing the situation in Europe, the England, and it was very cold the time when I went, and I was training. It was freezing, so it was a different
Yeah.
experience again for me. And I did well uh, at Leicester City. Uh, I even played a match with the reserve, and in that match, I assisted 2 goals. We lost 3-2, but both the goals were assisted by me. And in that match, I played against Lingard in Leicester City that time. Uh, uh, the one who's playing now, Michael. And then
Yeah.
other players who didn't play in the first team league match. So yeah, I had a very good experience there, and it was really good. The coaches liked me, but then they had some issues because their manager was changing or something like that. So then they said, "I'll have to keep on hold, and we will get back to you." And then I came back to South Africa, and I was in South Africa
Yeah.
training, and then they had some issues with their coach, and anyway, that didn't happen. The new coach came. And then in my final year in South Africa, in Cape Town, ASD Academy, I got another opportunity to go to Sunderland. And
Yeah.
I went to Sunderland. I had like, that was my best trial I gave in UK, in England. And I thought I would get a chance. But another thing happened there was Paulo Di Canio, the coach, he was there with them. And that time they had the the coaching staff was from the other coach. Okay, so when I gave
Okay.
trials, they had the coaching staff from other coach, and then Paulo Di Canio came, and his coaching staff came, and then I was like out. Nobody knew me there, but they were very keen on me. They spoke to me and they said, "We like you, and we would like to." And then this thing happened, and it was like an unfortunate thing for me. And I said, "Okay, no problem." And then I have to move forward. So that was my experience in my trials in UK.
Yeah, I think the coach you were talking about is Martin O'Neill, and his coaching staff at the one
Yeah,
were
yeah,
the ones
correct,
who
correct,
would.
correct, correct, correct.
Yeah, so you'd
Martin
given the
O'Neill, yeah,
trial under
correct.
Martin O'Neill. He was replaced after that. But that's just bad luck, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
you know
correct.
you said you gave your best trial at Sunderland and you were almost through the gate, and then suddenly the gate was shut. But you didn't
Yes,
give up,
that's correct.
and I wanted to touch upon that because you eventually you came back to India. And eventually, the ISL door opened for you because you got an opportunity to play for Mumbai City FC. What was that like when you signed up for the ISL for the first time? Sharing a dressing room with the likes of Sunil Chetri and Nicola Anelka and all these guys.
That was like a really good experience for me. Different league, and there was a lot of hype about ISL. I couldn't play the first year, uh, so second year I got this chance, and I was very happy. Uh, this was the first time I played alongside Sunil Chetri, and there was Nicolas Anelka, who was like one of the best strikers in the world, and they were very nice to me. Right from the day one, they supported me and spoke about me. They tried to help me in different aspects of the game. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, but unfortunately I couldn't play a lot of matches there because I got some injury there. But they were still very positive about me, and they were wanting me to play. Like, if you play, you can make difference, and they used to speak very positive about me. So that made me really happy, and gave me that motivation to work extra. And yeah, overall, I think what I learned in Mumbai City FC was very helpful in my journey.
yeah.
I've learned a lot of good things there, and it was like a learning thing for me. And because of that experience, I am better today.
And eventually, the boy came back home because FC Goa happened for you. What were the feelings like before? When the name was being floated around during the draft. Was it like, I want to play for Goa. I hope I get to play for Goa. I just hope I get any club in the ISL as long as I get to play football.
Before the draft, I knew that 3, 4 clubs were interested in me, but
Yeah,
I was hoping that Goa picks me first. I knew Goa would pick me, but I didn't know when, which number.
Yeah.
Then even Mumbai were interested, I think, and even Delhi, I think. So I think what happened was they already had the players in their mind who played in the ISL. So I knew Goa would pick me, and I was hoping that Goa picks me in the first three numbers. And fortunately, they picked me in the fourth number. And I spoke to one of the Mumbai guys, and they told me that if Goa wouldn't pick you in the fourth, we would pick you in the fifth. And I was like, oh God. And I was hoping that Goa picks me, and I always want to play for FC Goa, my home club. And I was very very happy when I heard them picking my name. I I was traveling. I was coming to Goa. I was in Assam, and on the way to the airport, I was checking the draft, and then I couldn't really express my feelings that time. And I came to Goa, and I was like everybody spoke about it. Oh, you are for FC Goa, you're for FC Goa. So I just wanted the season to start the next day because I was so excited about this and to play at Fatorda. So it was emotional moment for me.
Who did you call up first? Or did somebody call you? Was it your dad? Was it Sydney? Was it Beckham? Your mom? Who did you share that news with first?
My dad called me as soon as they picked my name. My dad called me and said, FC Goa picked you. And he was so happy that FC Goa picked me. And I said, okay. I didn't cut the call because I didn't know how to react. I was very happy from inside.
Fantastic. He must have been like, yeah, chalo, acha, Goa mein hi rahega, beta. He doesn't have to go too far away from us. And what better than that?
It's always nice to play for your home.
For FC Goa as well.
I didn't get your voice.
No, sorry. Yeah, you were saying that it was a great feeling playing for your hometown club, essentially.
Yeah, it was a great feeling, and even he wanted me to play for the home team. So a dream came true for both of us.
So all those days taking you to different football matches and Salset tournaments and Fransa packs and, Sporting Club de Goa and Churchill and all of that. Finally, he gets to play for FC Goa. But was that your first time at Fatorda, or had you watched games at the Fatorda before thinking, one I want to come here and play at this ground in an FC Goa shirt?
I watch most of the NFL matches. I used to go to watch at Fatorda. So I still have a picture me kicking a ball at Fatorda, the old stadium. Now they renovated it, but the old stadium I was, I think 4 years old, 4 or 5 years old, and I used to go there, pick a ball and play in the corridor there. And people used to come to watch the match. They used to just pass by and sometimes play with me in the corridor. So I always wanted to play at Fatorda. I grew up, watching matches at Fatorda. So always wanted to play at Fatorda.
Fantastic. Okay, Brandon, I'm going to take a few fan questions that came in. There was one from Nikhil Sharma 4747 who said, who can give you the best assist? Since you're such an assist king yourself, who can give you the best assist?
Best assist in club or in general or what?
Wherever. We're waiting for your national team goal. So let's just say for club.
For club, I think a striker, I think first assist Mandar gave me for the club. So yeah, Mandar.
So Mandar it is. All right, Paul Macefield's joined the conversation. He's saying Ahmed Jahu. He has a personal bias towards Ahmed Jahu. So I'll just say that next time you have a problem with who will give you the assist, just say Ahmed Jahu.
Ahmed Jahu is one of the best players in ISL I ever played with. So he's an unbelievable player.
Mace and I call him the Jaguar, and Russell and I, whenever we're discussing, we call him the Jaguar. What's Ahmed Jahu like, since you mentioned him? Because everybody says he's the prankster in the dressing room. He's the guy who's always laughing, pulling people's legs, and all of that. So tell us a bit about the man and the mystery behind him?
Uh, the first year he came, he was very quiet. So because he couldn't
Yeah,
speak much English, and he was very close with Bruno Pinheiro because Bruno used to speak French with him. And
yeah,
first year he was not very mischievous and not involving much in with the players and stuff. So he learned English little bit, and then he used to try to have conversation. And the way he used to speak was very funny. And he has a thing like wherever he goes, wherever he is, he have to like pull somebody's leg or anything. Like even while traveling, he would uh, he would like for example if he eats something on the airport, the the wrap he would put in somebody's bag. He's always like that. He something or the other he
yeah.
will do. Even in the dressing room, he will take charge of the music. He would play Arabic music, and yeah, he was very good friends with Pratesh. So there was an
Yeah.
incident. Pratesh is very short. So Fal had signed, and we didn't know how tall is Fal because Ahmed Jahu played with uh, with Fal, and we asked
Yeah.
how is Fal and this. He said Fal is Pratesh into three, as if three times taller than Pratesh. So the jokes he would crack was too funny, like the way he used to speak and.
Yeah.
So yeah, and when it comes to football, I think in training he's I think one of the best passer I've ever seen in ISL.
Yeah.
Uh, Great vision and somebody who can attack and defend. You don't always get such type of players who is a defensive midfielder who can attack as well as defend. You speak about his quality passes, you speak about his tackling, defending every time he's there in the
Yeah.
spaces to block counter attacks, and having him in a team is a big plus point for any team. uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, Ahmed Jahu for me is like one of the best player in ISL.
And certainly is, and the numbers back it up as well. But he's just somebody who has that second and a half extra, Brandon. So you almost you feel like he's got that additional time to be able to be the great player that he is in the ISL. So lucky you got to share a pitch with him.
Yeah, I was very lucky, and I personally learned a lot from him. I learned a pass from him which I've never saw a player do that. Maybe you can refer that pass to Ronaldinho. He looks one side and he passes the ball on the other side. That's a very
Yeah.
difficult pass you can make, but it was like pinpoint, like a perfect pass he could make. And Sandesh will tell you about this pass. Myself and Sandesh had a discussion about this pass when we played against Kerala here. And Sandesh was like, okay, he's looking that side, but he made a pass on his left side, and Sandesh was like, whoa, he's looking that side, but a perfect pass for Korominas on this side. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was like a perfect pass. And I tried, I always watch him like when he's playing. And when I'm playing with him, I know that he's gonna make that pass. And I always be in, between the lines so that to receive that pass. And most of the time I receive that pass when he gets the ball, he will look that side and boom, this side.
Absolutely, and completely agree with all those theories about Ahmed Joe. And you're not the only one, because we had a chat with Hugo Bumu, and he was also saying the same thing about him being a prankster in the dressing room and having a laugh at the expense of everybody else and being an absolute genius on the pitch. But you mentioned Koro as well, Brandon. What's it like playing with Koro? He's such a prolific goal scorer, but what's he like off the pitch when you try and interact with him?
I think Koro is one of the nicest guys in the whole FC Goa team. He's very humble. He's very giving. Uh, Nice person to speak to. He's always like, he has everything positive around him. Anything you tell him, he's like, okay, Brandon, it's okay, don't worry. Even in training, if I miss a goal or say next, don't worry, next. So he is somebody who is very positive. Somebody who will give you that positive energy. Somebody who will motivate you. And as
Yeah.
a person, he's very humble. That's why he is doing so good in ISL in the past 3 seasons. He has scored so many goals for FC Goa, assisted many goals in the last 3 years. So he is
Yeah.
one of the, as a person, a very nice person, and as a striker, one of the best strikers ISL could ever have.
And what are you like, Brandon? Because there are theories going around that you're always on the phone. What's Brandon like? I wanted to know. When you're sharing a room with Mandar, you're watching CID and Savdan India and things like that. You're always on your phone on the bus playing some sort of video games or checking Instagram feeds. Who's Brandon when he's not on a football pitch?
Uh, I'm very quiet. Like I don't like to speak much, but when I'm with Mandar, we always speak about different things. Uh, we always watch, serials, the TV shows, CID, and so it is like our thing. Whenever we are staying together, we always
Yeah.
watch CID or any program which comes on the TV. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't like to mix around much, but uh, when I'm comfortable with somebody, I will be close to that person and I will share my stuff with him. And when it comes to dressing room and all, I don't involve much. I stay in my space. So that's me.
Look at what Keane Lewis is saying on this conversation. Is not quiet. He's lying. And somebody's saying kuch to garvad hai Daya, obviously referring to CID.
Daya. Daya, that we always used to make, speak about him just kicking and breaking the doors. Just one kick he requires to break a door. So we used to always speak about it and make fun of it.
All right, fair enough. I think that sums up who Brandon is as a person, at least. So at least that's what fans know of you, Brandon. I'll take a few more questions from some of those fans. There was one from Immortal Boy 10 said, "What was your feeling on scoring your first ever goal for FC Goa?" I'd imagine.
First goal, I would say it was special.
Yeah, that was Mandar's assist.
Mandar's assist, and it's a very special goal. And I equalized. It was 2. We were losing 2-1, and I equalized 2-2, and then we went on to winning the match 3-2. So
Yeah.
I think that goal gave us that victory, and also my first goal at Fatorda for FC, emotional moment for me. It was a great feeling. I was very, very happy after scoring that goal.
All right. Yeah, I remember that goal at Fatorda very well. Then there was a question from Karthik Chinchkar 14. How does it feel every time you set foot in front of the home crowd back in Fatorda?
That feeling gives me goosebumps whenever I enter Fatorda Stadium. Fans cheering and with our support. The fans have been amazing this year and the past 6 years with FC Goa, and past 3 years I was in FC Goa. I've experienced a lot of love, a lot of support, amazing people always backing us. And when you have such kind of people, it is amazing to play in front of them when they are there to back you and support you. And it's like it gives you a lot of joy. So I feel very happy. Like whenever I enter the pitch, I have a different emotion. Like whenever I'm entering the pitch, I thought that.
You completely imagine that as a Goan as well. And speaking of Goans, you speak of Princeton, you speak of Kingsley. There's so many Goans in the squad. I think there was one time when FC Goa had 7 Goans at one time. And now a couple have joined as well. I think Leander, the development team captain, has become part of the squad. There's Samson as well, who's joined. There's Seriton, there's Xavier Gama, there's Lenny, the old warhorse as well. What's it like amongst you Goans? It's, when you guys get together, when you interact and you're playing for FC Goa, what's it like?
we have a like we have our own stories. We have our own thing to speak about Goa. Uh, Whenever we are together, we speak about mostly we speak about ISL and how the matches are going to go, what it's going to be like. So mostly we speak about football because
Yeah.
we know each other from a very long time. So there's a lot of common things to speak about, and we amongst ourselves we will prank amongst each other, and we will make fun of each other. So that's how we have a very good bond among each other. So
Do they look up to you as a bit of a senior statesman now? I mean, you're still very young, but do some of these guys come up to you for advice and say, "Oh, Brandon, bhai, aap ASD Academy gaye the. You went to South Africa. Give us a piece of advice on how we can get better as footballers."
yeah, they speak to me like in general. They speak to me, and I have to do because I'm in the on my way to like I'm still starting of my career. Or I'm in the middle of my
Yeah.
career, I can say. Uh, So I tell them what I did, what I try to do to be better, and they also need to be better every day. Every day is a chance to learn something new. And I always tell them whenever you are there on the pitch, whenever you are there on the training pitch, always give you 100% no matter what, because you may not play today, but if you train well, then it will make you better tomorrow, and that's going to help you, to play in the future.
Yeah.
So I always tell them don't be disappointed because y'all are still young, and that you have to wait for your chance. You When you're training, you have to give your 100%, and whenever you get a chance, you have to prove everybody that you can be there, you can play there, and just need to be humble, just to be patient, and become.
Just hold on one second because I've got a few more questions that I had to take from a few people. Now, obviously, you had a great season personally as well. I mean, now you've hit the charts as the highest assist provider amongst Indians and all of that. I mean, those accolades now we've almost come to expect from Brandon because, that's the kind of impact that you had right from age group level football, Brandon. I have two questions. One, your personal journey as Goa won the Shield and the disappointment of not being able to get past Chennai despite being, the best attacking team in the league.
Uh, mm, I think we our ultimate goal was to win the ISL, and knowing the fact winning the league will take you to AFC Champions League.
Yeah.
So we shifted our focus a little bit on the AFC Championship because that would be a great experience for the players. It would be a great thing for the club. So we from the start of the league we wanted to finish first. Uh, Even the AFC thing was not there, we would still want to finish first. We wanted to be top of the table, and yeah, we achieved that objective. We played very well in the entire season. We had some very good matches. We scored a lot of goals. I think the highest number of goals in a single season in ISL. Uh, yeah, but when the semi-final came, the things changed. I was not available for the first leg. Bumus was not there. Idubedia was not there. When you have too many changes in the team, dynamic of the team changes. But I think we still did well in the first half, but the second half was not that good. But the only reason I think we couldn't get through was because of our mistakes. I would say small details in the game which cost us. And I think if we would have corrected them, I think we would have been in the finals for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially because I think it was your 50th cap for FC Goa in the ISL when you were playing against Chennai, a match that you won, but over two legs you guys couldn't get to the final. But is that something that you regret with FC Goa, that despite winning the Shield, despite winning the Super Cup, you've not been able to get your hands on that ISL trophy?
Uh, yeah, last year it was very disappointing and heartbreaking for us. The previous year when we lost against Bangalore.
Yeah.
So we after that we went and won the Super Cup. So in our minds, it was like next year we are going to win the ISL, no matter what. We are going there to win the ISL trophy. That was our main aim.
Objective. Yeah.
But then this year also we couldn't win the ISL trophy, so it was a bit disappointing. And we hope that we can win the ISL trophy soon.
Which is why Juan Ferrando has been brought in. And there's a question about that actually from Nivesh Zuvatkar 23, who says, "What do you think about Juan Ferrando? Have you had a chat? Have you had a chat with him yet, or have you had a chance to look up at some of his career highlights?"
I've read about him a little bit. He seems to be a very good coach. I haven't got a chance to have a conversation with him. I still don't know him. So once he comes to Goa, I think I will know him better. Once I start training with him, I will know better. So I can't really answer his questions.
Sure, that's okay. But are you going to take responsibility to show him around to your favorite restaurant and teach him a little bit about fish curry in Goa?
If I get a chance, yeah, definitely. I will try to show him something in Goa which he can experience new.
I needed to know this from you because you're now a senior statesman in that in that FC Goa squad. You've been around for a while. How difficult is it going to be for somebody like Juan Ferrando to take over after the success that Sergio had with FC Goa? Because he's set a platform now where somebody will have to come and do better than him, because now FC Goa fans will almost expect Goa to play that kind of football and achieve that kind of success.
Yeah. I think Sergio Lobera has left a mark. Like he has, how can I say, whenever FC Goa played under Sergio Lobera, everybody would say the FC Goa way. So there is a tag, I can say, when FC Goa played under Lobera. So now the expectation will be even more. So I feel that now the new coach Juan Ferrando, when he comes, he will have to build a team which can perform at the same level where Sergio Lobera has left a mark. And I think it's going to take a while, because it's never easy. You can just come, bring players, and perform at that level. I feel it's going to take a bit time, because even when Lobera came in, he got his players, and we still struggled a bit in the first season. But in the second season, it was different, because we already had 1 year of training and togetherness, and it will obviously take time. So I feel it will be difficult in starting stages, but I hope and I believe that we will reach that mark initially playing in the league.
And you're definitely staying with FC Goa, because you got 2 more years on the contract, which is good news for all FC Goa fans, because there needs to be some sort of continuity as well as you go into the future, and Brandon provides that. Okay, I'm gonna play around with you, which is basically rapid fire, and you've got to make it as rapid as possible. Okay, so let's see if you've got the right answers to this. Set piece goal or open play goal? What do you prefer?
Set piece goal.
That's not surprising, Brandon, coming from you. Right wing or left wing?
Left wing, because I can come in and shoot with my right.
Left wing or central midfield? What do you prefer?
I prefer playing in the central midfielder.
Okay. Is that where you want to play for the national team as well, given the opportunity?
Yeah, I would play there, because I'm somebody who likes to play with the ball a lot, and because we had such a good players in FC Goa like Bumus and Irubedia, and they're like one of the best foreigners in the league. So I had to play on the left, and I had a freedom to come inside. So I was like a left winger and an attacking midfielder. So it was a combination of 2 positions. So if given a chance, I would always choose playing in the center.
Fantastic. I always wanted to ask you that question. I never had a chance. So that answers my question, and I'm sure a question of a lot of fans as well. Super Cup 2019 or Hero ISL 2019-20 league winners?
I think Super Cup.
Wow. Okay. I thought you might say league
Because
winners. Okay.
I scored in the finals. So it was
Exactly.
something very good,
Yeah.
great moment for me in the club.
Yeah, it was good because FC Goa. It was almost like a revenge match, wasn't it? Because Chennai had beaten you guys in the ISL final, so it was time to exact a bit of revenge on them through that.
Yeah, correct. This rivalries and revenge always are there in football. So
Yeah. Which is your favorite away stadium? There's somebody who's asked that as well. Since you mentioned Chennai, would it be Chennai? Would it be Kochi? Would it be Northeast?
I will say away stadium will be Salt Lake, Kolkata.
Salt Lake. Okay. Bebinka or go and fish curry? What do you prefer?
Go on fish curry any day.
All right. Sergio Lovera or Clifford Miranda? That's a tough one.
I would choose Sergio Lovera because he was the head coach, and if I speak about Clifford Miranda, he's a very good person, very good guy, and he's a friend to you. So whenever I see him as a friend. So I would choose Sergio Lovera.
Top man, Sergio. Absolutely. Can't disagree. Ahmed Jahu or Edu Bedia?
This is a difficult one. I will pick Ahmed Jahu, but if I have to say about Edu Bedia, he's somebody with great quality in terms of passing and understanding the game. But okay, Ahmed Jahu is like a different type of player, so I would choose Ahmed Jahu.
All right. As long as you don't choose Ahmed Bedia, I'm fine with that. So at least you picked one, which is good. Carlos Pena or Murtada Fall?
Both actually. They made a very good pair. But if I have to choose, I would choose Fall because of his strength, and he's a very good defender who can. Many strikers get scared of him.
That's true, and he's a goal scorer as well. He's up there amongst the top goal scorers in the league. So handy on both sides of the plate.
Yeah, he's always whenever I get a free kick, he comes to me and he's always like, put the ball in that area, I will go and I will score. So I have to put the ball in that area. If I don't put the ball in that area, I will like, Brandon, come on. I told you to put the ball in that area. So he'll always come to me and joke about.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with Murtada Fall. And see, Carlos Pena has now hung up his boots. So it's an easier choice now for you.
Yeah, because I can say about Carlos Pena, he is one experienced defender. He reads the game very well. He's a good a guider, or I can say the one who guides the defense very well. He speaks a lot, so it's very good for us. I play in front of them, so they say Brendan left, Brendan right, move this. So he's a good communicator, and that was very important for us in the defense.
Yeah, absolute leader of that defense, Pena. Sheraton Fernandes or Mandar Rao Desai?
Mandar Sheraton.
Mandar Sheraton. Okay.
Both of them Mandar... like Mandar has been playing since starting of the ISL, and for me, Sheraton have improved a lot in the past 2 years. Incredible improvement, and he's doing so well. I think I would choose both because both of them are doing very well.
Okay, fair enough. Then Hugo Bumu or Ferran Coromenas? Coro.
But in terms of scoring or assisting?
Anything. In terms of what Brandon thinks of them overall.
Okay, in terms of Coro, I will choose any day. And as a playmaker, I will choose Bumus.
As a playmaker, Bumus. Okay. That's a good answer. A debut versus Curacao or the assist for Adil Khan?
I will take the debut versus Curacao because I waited for this for a long time and I've got that. So it was a memorable moment for me, and it's my debut for the national team. So
yeah, and we're so glad that you found your way there and you're doing ever so well. CID or Savdan India?
CID.
CID.
I like Daya when he kicks and just breaks the door.
So is Daya your favorite character then in television overall? Or let me put it this way, Daya or Ahmed Jahu, who would you rather spend a day with?
Ahmed Jahu.
Ahmed Jahu.
Because he's going to make fun. I don't want Daya to kick me.
And finally, I had the last one, which was Manu Sahabera, who was your fitness coach with FC Goa under Sergio, or Professor Luca with the national team.
Different personalities, different way of working. I will prefer. Okay, both are good in their own ways. They have different ideas. Different mentality. What I like about Manu is he sees players and gives different players. He gives a different type of training. So each player have the load he gives on the player. He knows how much that player can take. So it's very, I can say, how to say, a training which is very organized.
Yeah.
And I think I have trained under physical trainer. He's the best I have trained with, Manu. And when it comes to Professor, he is somebody who will push you. He is always pushing me. He's always there. Hey, Brendan, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. So he will always there to push me. He's a very good guy. Always there to support. Whenever he tells me, if you want any help, you can come to me. I'm always in the gym. So yeah, he is also somebody who will push you, motivate you to get better.
I remember Khuri talking to you about the Superman banana story when you featured in one of the other Instagram live sessions. You've got to tell fans of watching this on ISL about that as well, because it was just hilarious and some of these guys might want to hear it. Mr. Salam Ranjan Singh, if you're watching this, please look away now.
So everybody knows in the camp that so there is one exercise a professor used to give. It's a core exercise. When you say banana, you have to hold. You have to sit on your back and just hold. And when you say Superman, you have to turn and be like a Superman. So it's for your abdominal and back. So it's to say it very fast. So banana, Superman, banana. So you have to accordingly. You have to say, when you say banana, you have to be like this. When you say Superman, you have to turn. So used to keep changing it. Saying banana, banana, Superman, Superman. So Salam, what he did was, so first he said banana, so he was like this. When he said Superman, he turned. Now he said banana, he turned like this, and he said banana again. He did Superman. So he was confused. So he didn't wanted to just be like, oh, he's lost. He just kept rolling like this. So it was either banana or Superman, banana or Superman. So that was the whole joke about it.
Yeah, amazing. But I'm sure that you'll have great memories going forward with the national team as well. But what's the relationship like with Igor Stimac? What's he been saying to you, and how does he, does he set goals for you in terms of what he expects from you in the future?
So whenever I have a conversation with him, whenever I speak to him, he always tell me that he likes me and he wants me to be in the team and help the national team. Always positive, always gives me advices. He tells me about his experiences, and he tells me what I need to do. And one thing he always tells me is, Brendan, you're good enough to play in the first 11, but if you're not working hard, then I can't help it. So one thing he put in my mind, that I have to work hard every day in order to be in the first 11 of the national team, and in order to help the team to get success, to win matches, and maybe it comes by goal or assist. So I have to work hard every day, and if you work hard, then he told me that no matter what, you will achieve your goals in life.
Yeah, and I don't believe you're the kind of player who would have too many superstitions, but do you see a lot of players around in the national team or FC Goa with a lot of superstitions? Is there one that you remember that stands out as a bit quirky or strange?
The strange one is Territon. So
What is
he's
that? Come on, I'm all ears.
he is somebody who is very superstitious, and he so so what happened was we were sharing a room, me and Seritan. And so before leaving, before going for the match, he doesn't speak to anybody. He doesn't shake hands with anybody or anything. And I was in the room, and he got ready and he was leaving. So I said, "Wait, I'm coming." He just looked at me and he went. He didn't even say anything. I was like, "What's wrong with you?" And then when he went to the bus, and I went and I spoke to him and I said, "Arey, why are you not speaking to me?" Still, he's not speaking to me. I mean, what happened with him? What's wrong with him? And then once he was in the stadium, he was he prays and all, and after praying he
Yeah.
speaks. So before that he doesn't speak to anybody. And then I asked him, why are you ignoring me? He's like, I'm always like this. I have this thing that I do not shake hands with anybody. I do not speak to anybody. Only once we go on the pitch, I start speaking. So I was like, okay, so that was something strange I saw from Sheraton, but
Yeah, top player. Very, very happy for him that he continues to to grow in stature as a right back, and that's a position where India have almost got a wealth of riches now. Prabir had a great season. Preetham Kotal's been around with the national team for a while. Rahul Beke has obviously done well, but amongst the Indian players, who do you go up to maximum for advice? Who do you talk to the most? Who do you spend time with a lot in the national camp?
usually I speak to everybody now. For now, it's always Chitri Bhai, Sunil Chitri.
Yeah.
I always go speak to Sandesh. I sometimes speak to Gurpreet, but not much. I speak more to Sandesh and Sunil, Sunil Bhai, because you know I see Sunil Chitri as an inspiration for everybody, for every footballer in India. He's somebody, you know, he's he's somebody I can say who leads with an example. So it's just not Sunil Chhetri. Oh, you can see what he does and say, oh, he's Sunil Chhetri, what he's doing. Even in the camps when we are there, he's the one who will be the first in the gym, who will be working
Yeah.
hard when it comes to nutrition, the correct things he eat. Now we look up to him and like he's eating that, so we also need to eat that. He's doing this, we also need to do this in order for us to achieve success and be like Sunil Chhetri. So having him in the team is like the biggest inspiration, biggest
Yeah.
motivation for us as a youngster, as a upcoming player. And yeah, they are great players, and Sunil Chhetri is like a legend. He's already a legend, I can say. Uh, Very helpful, very humble. If I want an advice, I go to him, I speak to him. Even I wanted some nutrition advice. I went to him and I said, Sunilbhai, I need to speak to you about something. He told me, come to my room. So it was
Hmm.
very nice about him to call me in the room. I went to his room. He spoke to me nicely, he explained it to me, everything. And yeah, he's a great example for Indian players and a great personality for us.
And which is the one footballer's room that you'll never want to enter, since you got a chance to enter Sunil Chetri's room.
I don't usually go in anybody's room, so I don't know. I went to Sunil Bhai's room because he called me in his room. So I've always been in my room, or I go to Mandar's room. Mandar and Roland, they're always together, and myself and Adil, we share a room. So we always go
Yeah.
to their room and like just neighbors to say hi. Like whenever in societies and all, how you go to our neighbors' places just to say hi. So we also go there to say hi to Mandar and Roland.
And how's the rivalry like with Roland Borges? Obviously, he plays for Mumbai City FC. So, do you guys discuss a lot of club football as well when you meet, or when you join the national camp?
We discuss only about one thing, that is nutrition.
Okay.
We every time if Roland is watching this, every time we meet, he will ask us one thing is, have you eaten avocado in the morning? So he likes to eat avocado in the morning, and so he says with avocado you get a lot of strength and it's very
Yeah.
good. So every time, like in a joking way, he always asks us, "Hope you ate avocado in the morning." Even the last time when we played against Mumbai, uh, So in the tunnel, we enter the stadium, enter the ground.
Yeah.
So we were about to enter the pitch, and we were in the line there. And so he's like, I hope you all ate avocado today, otherwise all will be finished. I was like, I hope you ate avocado. He said he ate 2 avocados.
You just got to remind him of FC Goa's record against Mumbai City FC, and I'm sure he'll start eating a lot more avocados next time.
I know. He said for this lockdown he had got a lot of avocados, so he can be stronger, and next year he can come better as a Mumbai City player.
Yeah, fantastic. Some great stories. But just in terms of promise, a lot of people talk about Brandon Fernandes, Roland Borges, Anirudh Thapa, Sahal Abdul Samad. The future of the national team. Who do you think has the maximum amount of promise going forward?
I think if you see the youngster, I think Sahal is very good potential. Even Anirudh Thapa, I like them a lot. They
Yeah.
are very promising. I can see them working hard. They are, type of players who can make difference, I feel, in the national team. Sahal is still young. I think he has many more years, and I feel he's just going to get better. And we have to just wait for the right time, and Sahal will be like unstoppable, I feel, because he's very good. And even Tapa, I always speak to Tapa whenever we are training and all. I always speak to Tapa. I tell Tapa, you have great ability, you are a great passer, and you can being behind, and you can dictate the play. Whenever I'm not playing, I tell him, take that responsibility, try to have the ball, play, move around. So he's the one who can, make the difference. So I feel these two players, youngsters, they have a lot of promise.
And Brandon, just as we're coming to the end of this, I wanted to know, it took you a while after playing under 14s, under 17s, under 19s, going to Manchester to the Cliff Ground, in such an early stage of your life. Eventually, it took you some time, but you got into the national team. What does Brandon Fernandes want to be remembered as when he finishes football? When he just decides that, like my father, I'm just going to look at the next generation of Goans coming through, like myself.
I would like to be remembered as a good person, as a good player, and as an inspiration for all. So that's what I think I want to be in my future.
I mean, it's a land, Brandon, that's given us such great names. Ramanan Shankwalkar, people like Bruno Coutinho, Jules Alberto, who's a good friend as well. Clifford, Derek Pereira, so many. You have an idol who you look up to the most amongst the Goans, who you want to be like or want to be better than?
Among Goans, since I was small, I always looked up to Bruno Coutinho.
Yeah.
That time he was playing for Salkankas, and he was also the captain of national team. He was a great talent, and he did a lot of things. I know he scored that goal also in Salt Lake, and the stadium was silent. So these are the
Yeah.
things I want to do. Like I want to be like him, do things what he did, and he was always like somebody I looked up to. I met him also. He always whenever he speaks to me, he gives me advice and speaks positive about me, and tells me good things. So yeah, I always looked up to Bruno Coutinho.
And so many people are looking up to people like Bruno Coutinho and now Brandon Fernandes, the likes of Liston, likes of Princeton, Kingsley, even Leander now breaking through to the FC Goa main team. What would your advice be to all the fans and to the young Goans watching this, Brandon? How can they be like you, or possibly even better than you tomorrow in the future as India continues to grow as a footballing nation?
My advice would be, you need to have a goal, like where you want to be. You want to play for the national team, you want to play for club level or what, and you have to work towards it. I think you need to train hard, try to be positive, be motivated, be dedicated, and whenever you get a chance, like I always say, prove it. Try to give your best so that people know what you can do, and people speak how good you are. So always believe in yourself. That's the most important thing, and I believe in myself. Like I can do whenever I'm on the pitch. I believe in myself. I can do a difference whenever I'm on the pitch. I can make assist. I can score. I can make a key pass. Whatever it is, I have that belief in myself. So the belief is the most important thing I can say, and dedication and training and hard work that continues, and eventually you can become a very successful person in life.
Thank you so much, Brandon, for being a part of this. You've made your parents' dream come true. And every time I hear your father and your mother speak, they're so full of pride every time they see Brandon now putting on a national team shirt. And apart from doing all that you do for FC Goa, so as you know, I'm sure a lot of these fans from FC Goa fan club, Gaur Army, East Lower Army, they joined us on this. One final message to them before we let you go.
Yeah, like I always say that without fans, football is empty. Like they are the other half of football. So the Gaur Army, the East Lower Armies, and all the FC Goa fans, they always are there to support. And even when it comes to national team, so many fans who come to support us. It's really great for a player to have such support, and this kind of motivation for player to go and play and perform. It has been great. I think very good for players, and if they continue like this, then we can be at the top, and we will work hard as players and try to give our best on the pitch so that we can achieve your goals and our goals at the same time.
You've broken many barriers, just like Daya keeps breaking doors in CID. Brandon, thank you so much for this conversation. Keep assisting, keep creating chances for FC Goa and for the national team, and hope you score many more goals as well than you have already. All the very best to you, my friend.
Thank you so much, Anant, and thank you for this chat, wonderful chat. Hope to see you soon.
Cheers, Brandon. Thank you very much, and apologies for my internet connection. Hopefully, it'll be better next time we talk.
No problem. I had patience, so that was okay.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, Brandon. See you soon. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
Right, guys, that was Brandon Fernandes. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Gaur Army, FC Goa Fan Club, East Lower Army, and all the FC Goa fans from across the country, and all fans of Hero Indian Super League as well. Apologies for a bit of a technical snag at my end, but Brandon was very patient, as were most of you who stuck around. And, we tried to get to know Brandon, the person behind the footballer that he is, the prodigious footballer that he has become, the most assists for an Indian in the Hero ISL, the most chances created by an Indian in the ISL, and he's responsible for all the 3 goals that India have so far scored in the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. And we wish him all the best. We wish him all the good fortune. We wish him all the good health as well, as I do for all of you as well who are watching this. We'll see you next time for another edition of Let's Football Live. But until then, it's goodbye. Stay safe.